welcome to another episode of DIY Try or Buy podcast. Today we are talking about living an organized life. I'm laughing on the inside because if you all really know me, organized is an interesting word to describe myself.
And it's okay.
I am going to be pretty vulnerable here on what that means, but we're going to kind of go through what does that mean to each of us in our homes, other parts of our lives too, because like organization and scheduling even, because you've got a very busy life with your son and work and all of that, and so like what does that actually mean infused into our daily lives?
So for me, I think we're both vulnerable in this conversation because the way I live currently is because of how I was raised, right? I currently live in a big home, but I feel like you said, with work, kid, dog, everything, it's just too much. And I'm really on this road, on this journey to live a more simplified lifestyle. And it's just too much house. Like we talked in the previous episode how our parents are aging, but I guess I'm aging too because I want to be on one level. I don't want stairs anymore. I just want more of a simplified lifestyle. So for me, and me, he can attest to this, I like organization. My son knows and my mom knows, and I always say it, everything has a home. Meaning if you leaving something on the counter, I got a problem with that. I have anxiety. I have anxiety, and I'm not really OCD because I feel like if I was like really OCD, nobody would like to come over my home. I feel like I kind of create a space where people feel at peace, and that is the prayer for my home. But I have to be organized. Like things have to be set. When people walk in the door, I have a huge thing with people taking their shoes off. That is a big thing for me. It unnerves me to no end if people are walking through my home with shoes because we spend a lot of time on the floor. My dog, when he goes out to use the bathroom, I'm wiping paws. I mean, it's just that serious.
It is.
I think culinary school years ago when I went kind of embedded that in me, that whole mise en place, which is gathering, having things in place. So I don't want to be that person. If I enjoy cooking, because that's a stress reliever for me, I want all of I used to have a baking sheet and have it all laid out, but I'm better now. But I like to have my things in place. I like to have a little garbage bowl. And I just like to, my grandmother taught me this, you wash as you go, because you don't want to create a whole mess that you have to clean up later. So I try to work smart and not hard. I just start going like this if I have mess. And I think for me, it was because when I was growing up, my mother and I lived in an apartment complex and we didn't have a washer and dryer. So my mother working, me going to school and playing sports, sometimes we would have an off week and our laundry would pile up. I mean, just pile up in garbage bags, right? And then I had to hand wash my sports uniforms. So that image for me of like walking over my clothes, dirty clothes, and me not taking care of my stuff and throwing it all over the floor, I didn't like living like that, right? So it's funny how you grow up one way and then when you say, well, when I get older, I'm not going to do that. So now I'm just like, I get triggered if something is piling up and I'll let things go. But, I do have a way that I like to live because for me, and this is so deep, and I know you're going to talk. This is a whole deep subject for me.
It is.
I haven't talked to my therapist about this, but for me, my home, because we wear these masks all day long as women of color, when I get home, this is the only place that I get to be. Like this is my respite, my peace. And I could just be myself. I can have a glass of wine. So in this space, I've always wanted to create an environment that I just like woosah to, right? So yeah, that is my level of clean. Everything has a home. Take your shoes off when you when you go to the door. What
Yeah.
about you?
It's so interesting. This is where you're going to see the true dynamics of Yiesha and I. So, of how she grew up and then how I grew up. I grew up in a very Asian culture. Shoes were off. Like in a lot of Asian cultures, like you know, in the countries, like there's a little room that you take your shoes off. You don't even step into the house with shoes. Like it's a little foyer, right? Like you don't come into the house with anything. So it's interesting because I grew up that way, right? I grew up no shoes in the house. It's a custom, a tradition. We upheld it. So I grew up where there was a lot of organization. There was a lot of structure. There were days that you did this type of cleaning, right? Like my mom maintained like she worked, but maintained the house from a cleanliness standpoint where it was very OCD. Like if I had a strand of hair, look at my hair. My hair was always long growing up. If there was like one strand of hair that she could see, like, you know, and she's still this way because her floor is like white.
Wow.
But like she'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you look at all your hair falling out." I'm like, "I got long hair, like it's gonna fall out." But she is like to that maybe anal retentive cleanliness, and I grew up in that, and I had chores, like I maintained all that, and if my room or something wasn't to that level of standard and cleanliness, I have talked about this in my therapy session. I have a new therapist, and we did bring it up. But it was almost like I had to be organized because of fear, right? And I realize now as an adult, I didn't like that fear of being controlled to be a certain way or to clean to a certain way. So interestingly enough, now I married my husband, and so there's a lot of people that you do wear your shoes inside the house, right? I have now converted into that type of household. Like you can come into a house wearing shoes because we just will clean the floors or whatever, or not. But that's something I don't practice anymore now in my own home. I grew up very regimented, very, very high standard of clean. Now, I'm going to be honest, this is very vulnerable. I'm not that way at all. Like I'm not sure what happened. I'm working through it with my therapist, but there's this kind of place where it's like, oh, I don't have anyone to tell me I have to clean to this level, like this level.
Yeah.
This level is still acceptable, right? If you have guests over. So it's just interesting because, you know, my house may look messy. Somebody might say it looks messy. Yiesha and I have talked about this. She's like, what do you mean messy? Can you see your floors? I'm like, yeah, you can see my floors.
Is it hoardish?
Right. Like we were like, oh no, I'm not like, you know, when you watch, like I'm not that.
Hoardy, yeah.
Which, hey, like I do understand how people can get that. There's a lot of other, like sometimes mental illness, you know, people get into, you know, a space, right? So, but not everything has a place. Like my kitchen table will have like homework sheets, we'll have fall decor, we'll have some tools like my husband had, like it, right? And like for you, like it's going to trigger her. And for my mom, right, like it triggered her too. And so like it's just interesting my dynamic now versus like how I grew up where it was just so, I don't know what the word is, like strict, controlled, like I couldn't be messy as a kid. Like there couldn't be like 3 pieces of clothing on it. Like that was messy. Like no way. Like that was like the household I grew up in. And I think I realize now, like I'm not as tight that way. Like it is okay if things do pile up, that if you don't fold your laundry right away, like you're gonna have to suffer and then you're gonna have to iron. But if that's like, is that the most important? So like, just so you all know, Yiesha's home is just like she described it. It is a respite. It is a place where people from out of town come in and visit and feel welcomed. And it is the decor, all of it has a place. It is really beautiful, and she maintains it. My house is not. My house is not a place where I actually want to, like, you know, somebody's like, hey, I'm in town. Can I stop by? Hell no. Okay? I just want to be vulnerable. Like, no, you're not driving. No. Like, they're dying. It's the truth. Like, if you're going to come see me, I need to know, like, weeks
way
in advance. Okay, like family gatherings. I love my extent. Like I married into a very big family, and I love it. My family was very small. I love them. They also love me. They don't care what my house looks like, and I believe them, right? And they're like, we don't care if you got this. You got a big dog. Like, who cares? My mom is not that way, right? So I do feel very judged. Like, if y'all can read my shirt,
more loving, less judging,
from Mahogany Mommies, we'll link it. But that's why I'm channeling the shirt. No matter how you live, but I would say if somebody asked me like, do you live an organized life? Probably
for you.
Yeah, I do things that work for me, but to somebody's standards, maybe not. So that's, yeah, but like for real, I don't have like random people come over my house. Like, if I know ahead of time, yes, I will prepare my house. I will clean it like the level of my mom's standard. Do I like to do that? No.
Well, let's be clear. Like, I don't have random people coming by because
you have friends.
Yeah, I have friends because I'm very private. I'm a very private person. So if you know where I live, that says a lot about what I feel about you as a person, as a friend, or whatever role you play in my life. But I will say, just because I choose to have my home this way does not mean I would ever judge you on your home. Because I know and let's keep it 100. Because there have been times where I'm like, oh, Mee Hee, like we're trying to like prepare an episode or like sweet potatoes or whatever we're trying to get away. I'm like, I can come by.
No.
I can swing through and get like, no.
Like if she had to, like if we had to, here's what I would do. Okay?
Do you think I would judge you because of how you live? Like, I hope you don't think that.
No, this is really, I know that Yiesha wouldn't judge me, but I know I would judge myself.
Oh, okay.
Right? And sometimes that's worse.
Mm-hmm,
Look, I'm working on it with my therapist.
Yeah.
Like, but it's interesting because if she did that and she's like, hey, let me run, because like there's been moments she's like, I'll just run by and come get it. Here's what I would have done. Here's the real life scenario. This is how it would have played. If she had to come over and get something, I'd say, hey, I put it in my mailbox. You can like, that's
just
legit.
Grab it,
that's like just being
do
so
a drive by. Just
drive by, open up my mailbox. Here it is. Isn't that interesting? Because like, how I kind of view my home, right, only my perspective, is that it's like the most safe space, which is like you would agree, your house is the most safe space. And I'm just going to be honest, and this probably goes into like how private I really am, and people would never think that, because we both work in a very connected space where we are talking to a lot of people. But me and my home, like after work, because I'm a true introvert and my husband is, like, I don't want anyone in my home, if that makes sense, like just casually.
So real talk. So I will pretty much never see your home. Just be honest.
I feel like
you would feel more comfortable if I never saw your home.
No, I feel like because of our relationship and how it's developed, you will see my home at some point. You will. There's other people I'd be like, they're never, no. Like,
let me put my appointment in now.
Yeah, so right? Because like the holidays, I'll get it, right? Yeah. Felix ain't coming to my house. But like holiday gatherings, like if my family comes over, yep.
Okay.
I'll clean it. Like they know what my house looks like clean, but they also know what it looks like in stages. Like my mother-in-law, father-in-law, but they, like, I don't feel judged by them.
So how does your mom feel when she visits you?
she doesn't watch my sister and my brother-in-law might, but this is just real talk. My mom grew up in a very different culture, right? She keeps her home her way. That's the thing, her way and her level of standards. So I have a home, like I said, well, first of all, I'm breaking like a cardinal rule for her of wearing shoes in the house. Like she doesn't understand that. But I tell her, I'm like, keep your shoes on. You can keep your shoes on. And she's like, so she's made one comment.
So let me, what is the cultural, I do it because germs, because you're walking through poop, grass, all kinds of nasty stuff. And because we really enjoy my home and we sit on the floor a lot, I don't want all that, I don't want that through my house. But that's just more of a cleanliness thing. But culturally, what is that? What does it mean?
It's like a sign of respect, right? It's a sign of respect when you're entering someone else's home.
Space.
Yeah.
See, I feel the same way because I'm trying to sell my house right now. I'm triggered. So it's respect. See, I knew the underlying meaning is if you're going into a person's space, it's all about respect. Just respect their rules. Like I even have like little footies by the door. Like if you don't want to take your shoes off, here, I got some footies for you. But some people just like run through your house and just don't even care. I'm like, see, those are the type of people that I don't want in my home.
Yeah. I mean, and that's happened too, where like the little kids in the neighborhood, like if they happen to have like mud and I see it and I'm like, oh, or like I remember like, you know, just family gatherings, or we have a creek in the backyard, right? So they're gonna track mud. I will already have a towel ready because I already know, like, drop your wet shoes there, just here's, you know, dry off your feet. Like, yes, but yes, traditionally, custom-wise, it's about like entering in someone's home, like bringing in clean, good energy. You're not tracking anything in. So I think that's really where it comes from. Yeah. And I respect that. I lived that my whole like upbringing. And that's okay because there's a lot of people that don't, right? And it's interesting because my home, I feel like it's not that I want, and some people love to entertain and host parties and all of that. I don't think I'm one of those people that that's what I love to do. I love to come home, like, we talk about like throw your bra off, like just relax, get into like comfortable clothes after work and like just close the doors, right? Like that's what I want to do. And then there's a big piece of that judgment of I don't want anyone judging me because this is my space and this is how I want to be. But then there's also that internal in myself that I feel like people are judging.
I do the whole, I take my bra off even before I even hit the door. It's in the car, like I'm taking everything off. But then I have this thing where if things are on my table, like Amazon deliveries or something, I feel like it's going, again, childhood, it's going to pile up. And if I let it get to a certain point, I would just, I will go a little nutty, a little batty. Yeah.
Now me.
Now I will say this. I have always cleaned my own home. I'm not like, there are certain levels of cleanliness. I say I'm about like right here to like, if this is like your mom, I'm about right here. Because I hate doing like baseboards. I don't like mopping. I don't like cleaning my blinds. I have a lot of windows. I don't like cleaning my blinds. But you actually turned me on to a housekeeper. I never even considered it. And then when I started talking about this whole episode of cleaning, and then when I was trying to, get my house ready for sale, a lot of my girlfriends got housekeepers, which I didn't even know like that was a thing to have a housekeeper. But I think as a professional, I didn't know that was a thing. So and it's not even about you got a lot of money because you have a housekeeper. No, it's just it's priorities. There are certain things that are a level of importance. And for me, now that I had a housekeeper that was referred to me by another girlfriend, I'm going to have her coming in, like once I sell this house and get into another one, I want her to come in monthly because the things I don't like doing, the baseboards, the mopping, the blinds, all those tedious things where the dust comes in, I want her to spot clean all that stuff. So now, because of you, because I never considered it, I now have a housekeeper and she's amazing.
Yeah, and it takes something like off of your mental plate. And I think, I moved into a much bigger house, which like I used to live in a bungalow, 2-bedroom, 1-bath when my son was first born, and we needed more space. Well, you get a bigger house, you're like, it'll be great. I have all that. You start to accumulate things. You got to fill it with, the furniture. You start to live in your home. And then I'm like, where did all this come from? Yeah. And right, like, and now I'm going to kind of go into like, how do I organize? Like in my brain, what does that look like? So you all will get to see my office. That was what you can see with these pictures that we'll show. But in my brain, people have always described me that I thrive in organized chaos. So if you describe that as your organization method, you know exactly what this means. My office, I will have things piled and stacked, right? Because to me, I need to have a visual placement of things. If I have things like I have things in a file folder and it's in a closet, I don't go to it because I can't see it. So things I feel like if I know where I've placed them, Like I can say, oh, I know I had to do this and I know it's in this stack. So I know where it's at versus like if I can't see it, it's really hard for me. So I had a cleaner come in and do my whole office, and she's a former student of mine, and I'll show you a picture. It still looks exactly the way that she organized it, but guess what? I don't go to it because I can't see it because it's in a drawer. And I bought, right? I bought the little like compartments to put like paper clips and different things, and in the drawer closes. Don't touch it. So it's so interesting if I like can't see it or touch it, like it doesn't almost like have value and I won't remember where it's at. So then, you know, we talked about it as like, could I even live as a minimalist, right? Like really downscale and prioritize what's important and of value. Maybe, maybe, because there are times where I'm like, why do I have this many t-shirts? Like what?
Yeah, I got
I had too many t-shirts. Like
yeah,
I love a t-shirt. You know, we both love t-shirts.
Yeah.
So it's interesting like how my mind organizes because like I've been in Aisha's pantry and things have their place. Things have a label. It's beautiful. Like I love it. Like from a
easily
design.
find it.
From a design
is so
standpoint, I'm like, oh, this is what a real pantry looks like.
And it's not even like my last pantry. My last pantry, I actually had labels.
You have some labels.
Yeah, but it was like hopefully if I can find a picture, I'll put it in the yeah.
Like you had the label strips.
Yeah, it was dope. I love that pantry, but it was so nice. And this one is kind of like it's just a couple baskets, but yeah, but I enjoy organizing.
Yeah.
I really do. Like this whole minimalist lifestyle has allowed me to see that, you know, I have a lot of stuff and I don't need it. You know, I'm trying to create memories with my son, create my business and things like that. But I just feel like once I start getting rid of the stuff, it weighed me down, but I feel much freer because I don't have all this stuff that I need to clean or deal with, right? So, but yeah, organizing for me, I have piles of receipts. Trust me, I am not going through all my receipts as I spend throughout the day. I do have piles, but I have a pile that I will go through at the end of the week or at some point and then sift through, but I don't have piles.
Yeah, I've got piles.
I have
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
And yeah,
That
it's
would
just
be a-
right. It's interesting, and
Because for me, that would be, okay, if I leave this pile here for a period of time, then I'm going to have more piles. See, that's what which you have a lot of piles, so that would then drive me crazy.
yeah, and isn't that like it's okay with it's just an interesting dynamic too, and yeah, you know, I got to work through some of it, right? Because like you said something very true to like as a child, right? There's something that you grew up that you did not want to keep doing, so you don't as an adult. And it's interesting the way I was triggered when it was like clean, 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 or else, right? Like, and then now I'm like, whatever, you know.
I think I'm no therapist, but I feel like you're like to your mom, screw you, mom. I'm a grown up and I'm gonna do what I want to do. This is my house and I'm gonna be free.
There is laundry in my dryer and I didn't take it out. I didn't fold my clothes today, right? Like it maybe like a rebellious
like a
piece.
rebellious piece to that. Yeah.
It's interesting. So I know like I'm working through like how does this impact even like my son, because that's the deep stuff, right? Because like is he gonna be triggered like how you were? And real honesty, like my cleaner came in and she was amazing and she does not judge, and she's like, your house is like nothing compared to some. And I was like, oh, that makes me okay, because like real talk, I cleaned before she came.
A lot of people do that though.
Not a lot of
Felix,
people do that too.
You don't.
Oh no, Felix is like, that's what I hired you for, right? Like but I did.
Yeah,
There was
my
a
friends
couple
clean.
things that I did because I was like, if she sees all this, or you know, like, she's a former student of mine, like I just didn't know. But she, you know, she was so great. And then she left one time, and my son was like, "Can we keep it this clean?" And I was like
So he likes cleanliness.
he does. And then when I tell him to clean up, he will. Like he knows how to clean. Like, and I'm gonna be honest, he's 7. I make him clean his own toilet. Okay, I make him clean his own toilet.
I can't do it. Yeah.
At 7 because I'm not cleaning his toilet the rest of his life. I read something about cleaning toilets and why that should be a good thing. And I'm like, it is a good thing because he's nasty and he's a little boy.
He's missing
missing the toilet bowl. If you know, you the boy moms, if you know, you know. So, but that triggered me. So I brought it up into my therapy session, and then it opened up. Y'all know if you go. So I have a new therapist. So we're working through how does it really impact in different ways, and then why you gotta get down there to heal, right? So I'm working through it, but like, you know,
I just had an epiphany.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm your mom to Jackson. I just thought about that.
Oh Lord, she's not close.
No, I'm serious. No, I'm not. I don't know how your mom is, but like I was just thinking of like when you talked about your son.
Felix is gonna put some emojis out, and it'll describe her.
No, when you talked about your son, I'm just like, well, I'm always on him because of how my childhood, like the triggers. So like if he has like he comes home from school, he likes to strip like straight up, shorts on the floor. I'm like, bruh, clean this up, you know. And and my grandmother was a very clean woman too. So cleanliness was next to godliness. You know, you don't leave stuff on the floor. Again, everything has a place. So I'm going to have that conversation with Jackson. Like, you know, do you like a clean house? Do you mind? Because I've never talked to him about it before. I'm always enforcing it. Again, he likes to leave his stuff in the dryer where he's wearing wrinkled clothes. I'm like, you can't be going to the school and they thinking you ain't got a home. You got a nice home. But the way you looking with all these wrinkles in your clothes, look like you just rolled out the bed, got on the bus, and was like, here I am. He just does not care. It drives me to no end. And his dad's not like that either. The boy don't care.
I'm laughing because I'm the mom that rolls up her son with wrinkles. Like, I'm that mom. Like,
no.
Well,
and
I don't have time to steam it.
I am not a big ironer either. But I'm like, if you take your clothes out when the buzzer rings on the dryer, just fold them. You don't have anything to worry about. But he'll let them sit there. I'm like, oh, God.
I understand, Jackson.
And there's a certain level of smell in a teenage boy's room.
Oh, that's a whole other.
He's like, Mom, why do you keep opening my windows and airing it out? Because I have to. And there is no amount of plug-ins. Felix, what is that? There is no amount of plug-ins that helps that room. I'm literally free breezing it, opening it. I'm like, we have house showings. I'm free. Okay, I'm sorry. We ain't even talking about organizing no more. But what are some of the tools that you use, or do you use any organizing tools that help you with your your organized chaos?
Okay. So I have a large dog and he sheds. So I don't know, you know, Facebook, it was Instagram. Instagram ads started popping up about this tool called Uproot, and it gets like dog hair off of upholstery, couches, like little, you know, I have hardwood floors, so I have rugs. So I bought it and it does work. I'm going to link a little picture, but also link where you can get this tool, but it actually works. So I love that tool. It's like a little tool. But I love the cedar mop. It's the you all know the red. Thing. It's red. Disposable mop heads as well. Like I used to be like the Swiffer, like all that, and all. To me, it was you just pushing dirt around. But the old school mop method, I'm telling you, works. And you do have to mop more than once. I mean, it is. You do, and you've got to empty the water and you got to refill it. But I use the cedar mop, and that's like one tool that once I found, I was like, I actually do use it. So that's a win for me. It's a win for me.
For me, containers. I like to keep things contained. So like pantry, I love little baskets. I'll go to like Big Lots or the Container Store. We don't have one close to us, but I'll go to like a Big Lot or Home Goods. I love those. I love my cordless vacuum. Oh my gosh. Especially on the stairs, and I can love that is the best invention. Love that. And I love Clorox wipes. And I know it's not good for the environment, pray for me, but I just like Clorox wipes. I do. I am guilty of the Clorox wipes. I love like wiping my counters down if they haven't been cleaned in a while, like doorknobs, all that kind of stuff. I'm knocking it out. But those are probably off the top of my head my favorite essentials. Keeping things contained, labels, and Clorox wipes. Yes.
I love that.
Okay.
Love it. So,
So do you listen? Okay, as we close this episode, in your organized chaos, do you feel like as you continue this journey that it is a good thing for your family, for your husband, for your son? Is it okay? Like, are you good with how you are, or do you feel like you need to change?
I feel like I need to impart some practices, right? I do feel that. So, and I feel like it's if I'm unorganized, there's a reason for that, right? Because I know what organized is. I've lived it, so I know how to get my home into a place. Like with my therapist, it's about the maintenance. Like, why do I not maintain? And again, it may be priority, right?
Yeah.
Like, where do I place cleanliness, like, in my brain of a priority? And then, however it means to me, that's not how it might mean to my son or my husband, even. So, that's the other dynamic I would like to understand. Like, how do we as a family unit need to, like, keep moving forward so that we get to a better place? Because I also want him to make sure that he doesn't clean out of fear, but he cleans because he knows like his space needs to be to a place where he feels good about, right? Not that I feel good about, but that he feels good about his room and how he cleans it, for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, not for anyone else. And that's a space I want to get to. And then, like, let's work. And then my husband, right? Like, what is the level that he really wants? Because he has his own domain in the garage. I don't look at it. Whatever state it gets to or however he organizes it, it's not me. Like, I don't fret about it. But he knows there's sometimes he works on projects so things linger into the house too. Like, does it bother me? Like, again, it's the priority. Does it bother, like, you'd be triggered, like, why is that piece of machinery or
On my
right?
table.
Yeah, right.
No.
And for me, it's like,
sir.
oh, he's got to work on it, and because he's entrepreneurial in
No,
the
sir.
evening and things like that. So, but yes, I want to, long-winded, but I do want to maybe pick up resources that will help me maintain. It's not like I need to be shown how to clean, know how to do that
Yeah.
to the nth degree. It's how do I maintain it to a level where I'm not triggered in fear, I guess. That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God for my therapist, because she has some work to do with this one. But I think it's healthy, right? Because that was a moment that I brought up, like, I need to work through, is it really impacting not just me, but my household? Like, I need to understand that. Because if it is, then I have to change. Then I have to work on things to kind of better my home. That doesn't mean I'm inviting people. That doesn't mean call me up and being like, hey, I'm in the area. I'll be there in 30. No one's doing that. Not yet. But yes, and eventually, please look forward. You will be able to come into my home.
It's okay. I get it. I totally understand, because I don't ever want to make you feel like, you feel uncomfortable having me over. And I get it. I get it. We're all different.
Yeah.
I get
But
it.
I will
No
say
shade.
in the future, when you do come over, I'll make sure that my floors are like mopped so you feel good about taking your shoes off and coming. Like, I will do that. So.
Okay. For me, ending this episode, I just feel like I'm excited. I'm excited about the journey of continuing to declutter and becoming a minimalist. I think the biggest thing for me is just organizing, selling everything. We didn't have a garage sale in our neighborhood, but I feel like Facebook Marketplace might be the place for me to sell stuff. I have really good luck on there. And then I've realized, because of the childhood things, that this is a journey for me. My mom, she gets on me all the time. She was like, you throw stuff away. She likes to keep stuff. I'm like, take a picture. I don't need to keep this object. I can take a picture and remember it that way. But I'm good at throwing stuff away. Like, I will throw it away in a second. I will give it away.
Help me.
I will
come to my house and help me.
Keep, give away, donate, or whatever, or throw it away. That is me all day. But I dig the skin I'm in. I'm living my own life. I want to live small, and I'm excited. I'm excited to get rid of a lot of stuff that I have, because I don't need it. So
I love that. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining our episode today. Definitely like, share, subscribe to the podcast you didn't know you needed.
And listen here, if you have an organizing tip or something that you like to share, or just any comments around organization, please let us know. Drop it in the comments or send us a DM. But thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.